Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1192. Reminds me of 1992 and grunge. And that was my impression of grunge. And the flannel and all the checkers on the shirts.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Was that what the grunge was? I don't know. I had a Weezer album. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But that's neither here nor there. Today we are going to celebrate that it's Monday. No, wait, that's the day we hate. I can't ameliorate the hesitate. It's propagate. Insinuate. My face is something that's great.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I look at my face and I go, oh, wow. That head wound healed up rather nicely that I had from that
Mike's
branch
Daily
that I hit.
Podcast.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was walking Basil the Boxer and I came upon that trail where I did hit my head against a tree because I thought I was going underneath this tree branch and there was another tree branch there. And this was at a park in Podcastro Valley, and I hit my head, and it felt so nice. And I made this sound. It was so wonderful. That I went over to one of the park groundskeeper guys, and I said, hey, there's a branch there that hit my head. Look at my head, it's scratched. And the grounds guy said, oh, I'll take care of it. And he did, ladies and gentlemen, he did. He chopped that down. He threw it into the wood chipper, which is, oh, I can never find that sound effect when I need it. So he did that, and I was so happy that now that no one will smash into that branch. Yay. Well, I had a great weekend. What I did was I slept in Saturday and Sunday, and then I watched the debates. Well, I listened to the debate. Oh, look, I just walked in. I listened to a little bit of the debate, and I have to say that Trump apologizing is like that kid that got caught throwing a rock through a window, and when they say, Billy, are you sorry? He goes, yeah, okay, whatever. That kind of thing. Like there was no remorse whatsoever in what he said. Did you buy that at all? If you bought that, you're just a Trump follower.
I'm really rich.
You don't care what he does. He could murder your children. You don't care. But Mike, Hillary murdered our children, and she's going to murder the USA because she lies to us, and all she does is lie. She has never, ever told the truth, Mike. Right. Oh, that's the argument they throw. As soon as they say, well, what do you... All right, if you look a Trump supporter in the eye and go, how do you explain... Oh, look, I just walked in. How do you defend what he said? They immediately throw Bill Clinton in your face. Bill Clinton should just go around and apologize and explain himself to everyone. It seems like now the cameras need to turn on Bill Clinton and go, well, what about all this stuff, Bill? What about all the things that Trump brought up? Yeah, we know he lies. Ah! Every word out of his mouth is a lie, but Bill, come on, you know. Oh, somebody was trying to tell me that Bill Clinton was the most unpopular president ever, and I strongly disagree with that. He did leave the White House. He was impeached, but then later the Supreme Court pardoned him or did something to the effect that the whole thing with Newt Gingrich impeaching him and leading the charge, and then he got Newt Gingrich, that kind of ruined him, and now he's a very successful television show host. And I still can't find the wood chipper. So in the end, politics. Talking politics is like talking popcorn. It's just there's nothing there, and it runs our country. So there has to be something there. I guess the debate, though, it was nasty, as they say. Some of the interesting things that came out, when Trump said, and I wasn't going to say this, but when I'm elected president, I'm going to hire an attorney who's going to go after Hillary with all the bad things she did. And then all the fact checkers afterwards said, no, you can't do that. As president, you don't make the attorney general do that. The attorney general operates independently. So he doesn't know. Well, I guess I didn't know until someone pointed that out, but still, it's just, that was hard to watch. I have no idea what characters walked in today. I know we had Benita the other day, and the disgruntled fiddle player, and they were wonderful. They did a great job coming in here and spicing up the show, making it wonderful. Oh, look, it is. I didn't see you guys had walked away after you walked in. You didn't.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Before you say anything, my beloved Cafe Anyway characters, let's look at the podcast picture, shall we? It's a picture of Basil the Boxer having a wonderful day at the beach. No, not the beach by the ocean, but a beach by the bay. Somewhere in San Leandro. And he's barking at a stick. A big stick that's stuck in the ground. Oh, it's so... Thank you for reminding me. So we had that wonderful last podcast where I was all worried about my mom in Daytona Beach. I didn't hear from her until like 1 o'clock Pacific time. And it was only because I remembered her boyfriend's phone number, because I tried calling her home number and it went straight to voicemail. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. Either the power's out, or maybe, a tree crashed on her house and destroyed it, and she's under the, you think the worst. And I suddenly remembered, oh, wait, she's got a boyfriend. Oh, wait, maybe she's with him. So I called the boyfriend's phone number, and she immediately answered. And she's like, you found me. And I said, yeah, I'm an investigative reporter. Does a podcast that no one listens to. And thank you, Mom. And I'm so glad you're alive. I was so happy to talk to her. And she said what she did was to weather the storm. She stayed with her boyfriend, who is much further inland in Florida. Oh, they live, Daytona Beach. My mom's house is closer to the beach. So that was just going to be treacherous if she stayed at her house. And then there's all these bridges to get to where she is. Those bridges all got shut down. So she would have been stuck on the peninsula, basically an island. Yeah, peninsula, Mike. It's like an island, only it's attached at one part. And yeah, we know that. Okay, but she was going to be stuck there. And so thankfully she stayed with her boyfriend. They weathered the storm. They drank champagne. They made a good time of it. And apparently she, was fine. And I'm so thankful. And then she did the next day on Saturday, she went and saw her house, and it was fine. It was, it survived. There was no broken glass, no broken windows. The roof stayed on. And there were some trees that got knocked down, or branches she said her backyard looked horrible. And then her refrigerator got defrosted because of the power outage, which was a good thing, because I have looked in that fridge and it was scary. Where's that sound effect now? That burp, burp, burp. That one. Thank you. I am going to find this wood chipper sound effect if it kills me. Where? Gosh, is it this one? No. Oh my gosh. This is why I need glasses. I cannot see the wood chipper sound effect. Oh, I got this one though. This is Halloween, this is Halloween. Yeah, that's coming up. Halloween. So I mentioned last week about how I was too intimidated by all of the people in my neighborhood that nobody's putting up, skeletons or witches or anything like that. It's all just lights. It's all lights. It's all Halloween lights. It's like everybody's like, yeah, we don't want to be scary like that. We want just lights. And I thought, come on. That's the fun part of Halloween, is to put the witches out and that kind of thing. And no. So I just went ahead and did it. I put the skeleton out. It looks wonderful. I put up some bats. And you know what? If people have a problem with that, then move. It's America. And we can do what we want, right? I'm so glad the Hurricane Matthew's over with. Oh! Well, let's quickly say hi to our wonderful Cafe Anyway characters.
Anyway.
Cafe Anyway.
Anyway.
Hello, Michael Master. It's Madame Rootabega.
And this is Valentino, the back attendant.
And it's a Bison Bentley. Do you know that Hillary's a liar and a crooked woman? Have any of you guys, Valentino and Bison Bentley, Madame Rootabega, you can chime in if you've talked like this too in a locker room? Did you ever talk like that in a locker room the way, you know who did?
Yeah, Mike. I don't know half the words that guy said. That was pretty rude there.
Yeah, rude. Do you know that? Well, I'm good. I'm glad. Locker room talk. It's just locker room talk. This is how we talk in locker rooms. This is all men talk like that in locker rooms. As I said, on the radio show that I do, on the internet, the country station I do, that sort of, we play like bluegrass and old country, new country, and all kinds of country and blues and stuff. I said, if I was ever in a locker room where women were talked about in that way, I would just leave the locker room. I'd probably leave the team. And I have actually left friendships with friends in the past that talk like that. I get sick of that. You don't talk about women like that. And you know, I was raised by a single mom, and I know you got to have respect. You know, both genders have to have respect with each other, and it's just ridiculous when people talk like that. So Nancy O'Dell, the way Trump was talking about her was just ridiculous. So, and then he goes ahead and blames Bill. So Bill will be coming to your house today to apologize and to explain himself. Maybe. Probably not. But I did find the wood chipper sound effect. Yay! All right, now the segment, This is Interesting.
This is interesting.
Wow, this is interesting.
It's pretty interesting.
Apparently, some Civil War cannonballs were unearthed because of Hurricane Matthew. Matthew has now been downgraded into a storm, just a storm. But boy, did it kick up our fears last week, didn't it? Has long gone from the Atlantic coast, but the devastation lingered most notably in North Carolina, interestingly enough, where flooded cities tried to dry out and those downstream kept a close eye on rising rivers. The flooding disaster is forecast to slowly unfold over the next several days as all that rain, more than a foot in places, flows into rivers and downstream, likely causing more inundation in many of the same places devastated by a similar deluge from Hurricane Floyd. That was back in 1999. Thousands of people found themselves suddenly trapped in homes and cars during the torrential rains. Rescuers and Coast Guard helicopters plucked some of them from rooftops and used military vehicles to reach others, including a woman who held onto a tree for 3 hours. Gosh, after her car was overrun by floodwaters. Now, the storm killed more than 500 people in Haiti. And in the U.S., at least 18, nearly half of them in North Carolina. Most were swept away by floodwaters. North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory said Sunday that authorities were searching for 5 people and feared they may have found that they may be more victims. Hurricane Matthew is off the map, but it is still with us and is still deadly, he said. Princeville is a town of 2,000 that disappeared in the waters of the Tar River during Floyd, was evacuated Sunday as the river was expected to rise to 17 feet above flood stage by late Monday, a level not seen since Floyd. McCrory expected more evacuations as some rivers were predicted to crest next Friday. So that is what happened. More than 1 million people in South Carolina and North Carolina were without power. That was the case as well with my mom. She was without power for days. The ferocity of the rain caught people by surprise. A young kid by the name of Ezekiel escaped the floods in Fayetteville on Saturday with his parents and 7 brothers and sisters when a police boat plucked them from an apartment as the water rose. In Wilson County, rescuers were called when a 63-year-old woman didn't make it home from work. They heard her cries for help while riding on top of a Humvee. And when they couldn't get her with a rope, a National Guard soldier swam to her, staying until a rescue boat arrived. Even animals had to be saved. There was a dog swimming around floodwaters. On the TV, McCrory said he and his wife were riveted by the coverage and relieved to find out from the Coast Guard that the dog managed to get into a tree and they rescued it. 15 inches in Fayetteville, 8 inches in Raleigh. My financial advisor lives near Raleigh. He said he got 8 inches in 12 hours. That's crazy. Elsewhere along the Atlantic coast, things were slowly returning to normal. Much of Savannah, Georgia, which had 17 inches of rain, was still without electricity. They had a curfew imposed. About 150 people stood in line for a grocery store to open like it was a Black Friday sale. My mom said that in Daytona Beach they had a curfew as well, so that was on Friday night. That's why she wasn't able to go. Oh, and the bridge was closed. That would have allowed her to go see her house, but... As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. There are a lot of other things I wanted to get to today, but today's kind of weird. Today's a Monday, and it took me forever to find the wood chipper sound effect. But that's just how it goes at cafe anyway, in Podcastro Valley. Where at least branches that are going to hit and scar your head have been chopped down. Next show, it is going to be Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. If you, want to check out the website, it's at mikesdailypodcast.com. We got all the past podcast pictures there. You can help out the show by buying whatever it was you were going to buy on Amazon through that Amazon link. That helps us out. And then if you were also going to help us out through the PayPal, you'll get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters. And there's all the past interviews, too, that I've done, all there at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!